Welcome to our webinar on Benchmark Universe. My name is Cheryl Taylor, and I am the librarian at the Classical Center at Weill. I've been here for 12 years, and my moderator, who is sitting directly behind me, listening carefully, is Kelsey Ray, and she is the librarian at Bradfield Elementary, and she has been there for 5 years? 5 years. I would have gone with 8. I don't know why I thought she'd been there longer. Maybe she just seems like a pro. So today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Benchmark Universe. Now, just to give you a little bit of information about myself, I'm here in the library. I have 4 desktop computers, and but I do have access to carts of iPads that circulate around our campus. We have carts for one strand of our magnet program, all have carts, and then there's another strand of our magnet that everybody shares a cart. So there are plenty of iPads that I do have access to. In addition to that, on our campus, we also have a computer lab just like everyone else. And so there's lots of access, and the Chromebooks that are in teachers' classrooms that people have access to also. Now, today, what we're going to talk about is Benchmark Universe. And Benchmark Universe is the online component that kind of comes alongside and works with our leveled libraries that are in use in our kinder through 3rd grade for sure, and I believe in a lot of campuses, the kinder through 5th grade classrooms. Your leveled libraries are located somewhere on your campus, and they're those big boxes that have the Ziploc bags and the sets of books in them that are available for checkout as you're doing small group instruction. If you weren't aware of it, there is a pretty vast amount of information that is also available online to you that you can use, and you can use with your students that's in Benchmark Universe. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, you might say, why is this important, Cheryl? Well, to answer that question is if you're using materials that you have, and obviously you don't have everything that Benchmark has available to you. You don't have it in print, but you do have access to it online. And so there are a lot of online things that you have access to. So it kind of just increases exponentially the amount of the library materials that you have available to use in your classrooms. You also have access to the print. It will also tell you the print ones that you have. So you can go through and search if you're trying to search by skill or, search by title. There's a lot of different ways that you can search for things, and we're going to talk about all of that today. I know you're on the edge of your seats. As far as any kind of misconceptions that you might have about Benchmark Universe, first of all, it's not just like the exact same thing as the leveled library. It's not just a cookie cutter, oh, this is what we have, this is the exact same thing. Like I said previously, it's actually what you have in addition to what you have, everything they have that's available in an ebook is available to you in Benchmark Universe. The books are read to the students. There's a whole lot of different things that you can do with the materials. You can customize books. You can make assignments as customized as you would like to and as detailed as you'd like to for students. So if you know you're going to be out, or if you have 2 different small groups you really want to work with, you do have opportunities where you could set a group and say, okay, you guys start on this assignment and work with a different small group and then switch, and the things would still be read to you, or read to the students rather, and so they could still use that material. Hopefully this will help you just learn more about Benchmark Universe and the leveled library, so that your use of the leveled library can really shine, so that not only is it just something that you have in print that you go in there and grab something, but it's also something that you can use online. And so let's get to it. We're going to get this camera off me because I feel real weird talking like this, and on with the leveled library. Okay, so let's share. All right, so here we have the leveled library, and let's see. Oh, I don't want it like this though. I want it so that you can see my whole screen so I can use the tabs. Okay.
I see your tabs.
Do you see my tabs?
I do see.
Okay, well then you know what? I bet I can too. Let's hold on. I'm having a moment. Ah ha ha. I got it. See, when there's things you only do once a year, sometimes things go away from you, but they're back. So here we are. And when you go into this, you're going to start off in Ready Hub. That's how you're going to access benchmark education. And so you're going to go into Ready Hub, which is one of the icons on your desktop. And then you're going to select this one right here, which is benchmark education. Now, just a side note to you, please notice how many oodles and oodles of options you have in here. There are a lot of things that you have access to that if you're not sure what they are, maybe take an opportunity and see if there's a different webinar about one of these. See if your I3 knows anything about them. Ask your CTA. Just get in there and kind of dig around yourself and see what kind of things are available. But there are lots of things that are accessible to you and are accessible to your students just by going through Ready Hub. That was just my little Ready Hub commercial. All right. So we're looking right here at Benchmark Universe. Now, Benchmark Universe helps us with two of our ISTE standards. It has our knowledge constructor, because we're going to employ different strategies to locate information. And you're going to see that as we're kind of digging through this tool right here, as well as it's going to create an empowered learner. They're going to use technology and seek feedback that informs and improves performance. And that can be done if you create customizable lessons and customizable assignments that students can complete at their own pace here within Benchmark Education. Now, you've gone into Ready Hub. Now we're here in Benchmark Universe. Now, one thing I will tell you is that I have administrator rights. I have school administrator rights to Benchmark Universe, which you might say to yourself, well, gosh, that means you're going to have a lot of extra tabs that I don't have as a classroom teacher. Actually, it's the exact opposite. I have fewer tabs than you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I have, and then I've made an extra PowerPoint that I can show you what the classroom teacher, the few extra things that you have. Most of the things are the same, but there is a couple of features that are a little bit different, and so I will highlight those at the end of this webinar. First of all, we're going to start right here with just some basic things on this screen. We're going to start off, this is the library. Okay, that's why it says My Library right here. We'll bounce back to the menu in just a moment. We're going to start right over here with Show Me How, which is exactly what it sounds like. It has just a few videos that can show you how to get started, how to search, how to create an assignment, how to make bookshelves, so that as you're doing this, or as you're sitting down with Benchmark Universe and trying to create some of these things, if you don't remember how, or you don't remember, you kind of remember just enough to be dangerous, here, this gives you an opportunity of a short little video that you can watch that will hopefully refresh your memory so that you can go ahead and create those things. Also, right up here, there's the question mark. And this is your help menu, and it's incredibly detailed, as you can see. Lots of information. It shows you, I mean, tons of different things, different ways to get started, getting started with reports. That's partly on my end too. And then games and your dashboard, how to manage students, making assessments. And as you can see, I just clicked on assessments, and it has a ton of different things that if I'm trying to figure out how to do something, hopefully it will have the information that you need here stored somewhere in its help menu. So that is available through Benchmark Universe. And again, that's just right here on this main dashboard when you log in here at this question mark. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to start with our menu. Now your menu, I just clicked on those three bars right there, and here's my menu. Now my menu has dashboard, which just is kind of a simplified version of what, we were talking about that you see in the sidebar. So if I want to click on library, I'm right back here in my library. Next, we have my library, which is one of the options. Messages. So if there's any messages to me from the system, that'll be there. Manage students. Now, my managed students will look a little bit different from yours just because I can show you, hopefully, quickly. I have just all the teachers, and then I have all of the students listed, and then all of the classes listed in groups. You will not have this many. You will have just your students and your class, the classes that you have and your students. And we'll look at that again in just a few minutes. Now, help, again, is the same as our question mark right over here. It's just another way to get to that. And here we are again, right back at our help menu. Gives you some options of what do I need to do? What am I trying to search? Right up here, there is a search bar so that if you aren't sure, which topic you want to drill into, you can always just search up here, typing, and pick a topic, and it'll get you some information, hopefully, about what you're trying to sort out through Benchmark Universe. Now, we're going to go back to our library, and as you can see, this right here is just exactly what it looks like. It's a list of books, books and books and books, all the books that are available in the ebook format here in Benchmark Universe. Now, as you'll notice, especially as I'm scrolling through, you're going to see some that are Spanish, some that are English. They're all mixed up right now. Okay, this is just a compilation of everything that's there. It is not really organized in any way, shape, or form that I've been able to figure out. If you're from Benchmark Universe and you know how it's organized, feel free to let me know. But basically, it just looks like it's just all the books in there. Now, here's where some of our search techniques can come in. And if you look in this sidebar, you're going to see a whole lot of different ways that you can filter things. So if you have students and you're just looking, and let's say their level is O, 32. Oh, there weren't any. 34. I guess 32. Maybe they don't have any. So O, 34. So here we are. And this is all the books that are leveled O, 34. Okay, that would be in that set. Okay. And I can take that off. Now I have everything listed again. If I want to search by Lexile level, that's right here. So I can take this yellow bar and just kind of move it, change it, and it's going to change. And see, notice here at the top, it says what filter that I'm using. Okay, because eventually if I keep filtering things down, I might end up with no books, which means I need to change some of the things that are up here. Notice, and I'm going to just add something else. I'm just going to add H14. Okay, when I added H14, notice everything disappeared because these two things didn't match up right. So I can take those off and it repopulates everything. Okay, so if you end up searching for something and end up with nothing, you can always, right in here in that top bar, just click on those and it can make those disappear so that then you're not searching and you don't have to remember or go back and try to work backwards from the filters you created. Let's turn that back. Next, you can search by language. Okay, so if you know you're looking for books that are in English, you're looking for Spanish, you're looking for Chinese, you can filter out. So let's say I'm only looking for books that are Spanish. I'm only looking for this Lexile level. Now, notice up again at the top, Spanish. There's the Lexile level I'm searching by, and these are the book options that I have. Okay. I can also search by content area. If you've had any experience with your leveled library on your campus, you know that there's books that are about language arts, there's math books, science books, social studies books, lots of great resources in the science and social studies areas. And so if you know you want a book for science because you want to use some of your small group time and do some activities that are, bringing reading and science together, this is a great opportunity to be able to do that. And so pick science. And so, yep, now I've got books that are in Spanish at a certain Lexile level that are in science concepts. So again, it's just a really good way to be able to filter things down because there's thousands and thousands of options. And so you really just need to kind of filter through and figure out what you are and aren't interested in using. Now, one thing I will also say is right here on this bottom, there's also a different way because that's not all of the filters that exist. Because you might be saying, I want to search by strategy. Ha! Great thinking, person out there. You can search by strategy. You click all filters and it's going to show you all of the filters you can search by. Now, notice at the top, the 3 that I had already picked are still populated in there and they will not go away until I tell them to go away. So if I've decided I don't care about science anymore, I just want to pick a comprehension strategy, I can do that. I just take it off. Okay. Now, there's lots of different options. There's themes. You could search by age. You could search by comprehension strategy. So if you're like, I want to make sure my students, we talk about author's purpose. I've now added it as one of my filters. And when I click submit, there we go. These are the books that they have in ebook that are in Spanish, this Lexile level, and are evaluating author's purpose. That's not such an overwhelming looking list. So this is where you could start and kind of deciding which one you're interested in and what you want to do. So that's in our all filters. As you can see, there's lots of other ways. Developmental categories, lexiles. If you want a specific genre, you want to stick with fairy tales. There's instructional categories. Again, lots of different things and ways that you can choose to go ahead and search to find some type of materials. Okay, so we're going to take all these off. And we're going to just come back out here. So we're back at the beginning. Let's take that. So I'm going to take all my different filters off. Okay. And so now I'm just back into this big master list that shows what I have. So we're going to look. We're just going to pick one of these, and I'll make sure I pick one in English. All right, let's pick this one. Now, first, you're going to notice there's a little cog right here. If you click on that cog, it gives you 4 options: open, more information, add to bookshelf, or reviews. More information is exactly what you think. It's going to tell you more information about the book. It tells you what series it belongs in, its lexile level, its level number, its letter. So this would be an I-16, its developmental category, what language it's in, and give you a brief description of the book. So if you end up going through and you have a list of 6 or 8 books and you aren't sure which one to pick, click more information. It'll give you a brief summary of the book, and it'll give you some information to kind of get started with. Now, notice it also said add to bookshelf is one of the options. If you look at the, what is that? The right side of my column right here, you can create bookshelves. And so what you can do is you can take these books and add them to a bookshelf that's already there. So let's suppose I want to add this book to, let's go back to this one. So I want to add this one. I want to add it to a bookshelf. I want to tell it which bookshelf I'm going to add it to. I have to tell it. Do I want it to go to 3rd grade cause and effect, drawing conclusions, wherever I want it to go? Now notice these numbers in this side, those are books that I've already put in those bookshelves. So I already have 13 titles in author's purpose, 7 in main event, 4 in inference for 3rd grade. You can add more bookshelves, which is perfectly fine. Just make sure that you title it something so that you're going to be able to find it later, so that you don't end up going, oh, I named it something, and then you can't remember what it was. Okay, and I'm just going to put this in a bookshelf. I don't know what the book is, but there we go. Okay, so let's actually look into the book. Okay, when you get inside the book and all I did was click on it, it's going to give you this option, create a customization. Now you can take all of these books and make them as customized as you would like. Now, when you get in here, notice it just gives a generic name, date, the time, and my name. If you say yes, great. It's going to bring up a menu. Okay, and notice it suddenly goes into edit mode. Kind of looks like a little architecture board. And so I have different tools. Okay, I can create some, oops, wrong side, sorry. I can create some little things, some links over here. Okay, I can use a pen. I can write inside of the book, somewhere in here. I can create a text box that I can write in. I can, let's see, let's go back. I can add a bookmark to this book. I can add a hyperlink. Okay, and I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes. So we're just going to get out of that. We're going to go back to this book. Now let's suppose, oops, sorry, I'm going to pick a different one. Let's suppose that I want this book, A Seed Needs Help. So I pick A Seed Needs Help. And I say, no, I don't want to create any customization. And so I start working, I start looking into this book, and I realize, oh man, I do want some customizations. All I do is I go right here to edit mode. And when I click that, it asks me that same question again. So if you realize 10 minutes into looking at this book that there are customizations you want to add, you can. And you just click that little toolbar right there. Now, as you're doing this with this book, you can, the book can be read. Oh, sorry. The book can be read to your students, or they can just read it.
Let's read a book. Follow along as I read. A Seed Needs Help by Catherine Scraper. That means turn the page.
So as you can see, it goes through, it highlights the words. It worked a lot better when I wasn't sharing my screen, so I'm wondering if it's just because I'm sharing my screen, there's a delay. You can also set it right up here at the top. Notice it stopped and it told them when they hear that sound to turn the page. There's also a way that you can set it up right here at the top with auto. You can turn that on and then the book will automatically just proceed. It won't stop. It'll just turn the pages for the students so that they don't have to turn the pages. There's also, if you look at the sides, there's little blue boxes. You can create notes. The students can write notes to themselves right here and type whatever they want. If there's something that they want to remember, they can go ahead and do that. Now, just to show you earlier today, let's find the one. There we go. Okay, earlier today, I created one. Let's hopefully it's going to work right for us here. I created a customization in here, okay, in this book, Clouds. I don't know where it went. Oh, hold on. It's that one. There. That's what I did wrong. Notice how when it came up, it said Clouds. When I created my customization, I called it Group 1, as if I was going to make a customization for this book and have 4 or 5 different groups use it. So when you click on this, you want to pick which one you want, and I just clicked on the box, so I want Group 1. Okay. Now I'm going to go into Clouds. Now, if you'll notice right here, so I just went into the book. I can push play and it'll read it to me.
There are many kinds of cloud.
You get the idea. Now, what I did was I added some customization. So I went over here into this toolbar. I added a text box, so I made a little note right here, a little link to learn. Okay, click this link to search cloud types. Okay, I just made a little note. Obviously, you'd want to make it something that was a little bit more interesting or something to look, remind the students of something like maybe this makes me think of a time in science when we looked at clouds, etc. The other thing you can do is if you'll notice there's a little link. There's also a link right here in this little wrench bar. I added a hyperlink. And in the hyperlink, it's going to take us to a section that's talking about clouds and how they form and a science nonfiction website. Okay, here's all my different kinds of clouds. Here's what they mean. So if you want to really turn this into a different kind of lesson, if you want students to do research about clouds, whatever you want, you can add these customizations. And just like I said, all I did was use this wrench and I picked out what I wanted. I found the website and I linked it with this link. And so the student could just click on it and then they can go and find and learn about clouds. Okay. And then they can continue going through the book. You can add notes. There are other spots you can add different customizations. You could add shapes. You could add arrows. If there are vocabulary words you want them to make sure that they see, you could highlight them. All of those things are right here in this sidebar. Okay, all of those different things you could kind of add all these different kinds of customizations. Now, as you're adding customizations, this little arrow right here, it's going to tell you right here. And since I'm not adding them, it's not saying this, but here we can. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to circle the word. There we go. Kind of colored it in yellow. Okay. So that's just something that I want to make sure that I see. Okay. Notice there's a trash can there. If I decide I don't want it anymore, it'll ask, do I want to trash it? Yep. And it makes it go away. Okay. You can also add a bookmark somewhere on here. Okay. And then if you've added a bookmark, it'll take you to where the bookmark is. I believe there's one. Maybe there isn't. I thought there was. It seemed like I saw one earlier. And so you can go through and you can add bookmarks and any other kinds of customizations. Okay. Obviously, I've gone real fast through a lot of this stuff. So real quick as the webinar. Oh, One thing I do want to point out too, as I was talking up here, print. You can print this book out. So if you want to print out this book so that your students can have a copy of it in front of them so they can write things on it, so they can do things like that, that is also an option that students can, that you can print that off and then you can give it to them and then they can use that, you know, for reading. They can take it home if they're absent, those kind of things. Now, all right, so let's go back. We're done with this. Oh, no. There we go. We're done with that. So we're back to our benchmark universe, okay? We're getting out of there. We're here. We've talked a little bit about creating a bookshelf for customization. Now we're going to look just a little bit at the things that are different in the teacher dashboard. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is, if you remember my dashboard, I had my library, I had messages, I had managed students, I had help. I did not have assignments, I did not have book reviews, and I did not have reading log. Okay, we're going to talk just briefly about what those different things are here for just a second. Now, my library first. The main thing that is different in my library, the My Library icon and yours, is that you also have one right here that's called assignments. Your library has bookshelves and assignments. You can give individual students, groups of students, assignments here in Benchmark Universe. Now, you have the start screen, and you have right here, you can add new assignments. Okay, so you're going to click right here to add new assignment, and then you're going to start, you can add things in. Now, you want to add students, so that you make sure that you have the students in there that need the assignment. Okay, here's all the class list choices. I had a friend who let me see her page. Thank you. Shout out to Patty Naguai. Select which group. Okay, and as you can see, she's a self-contained second grade teacher, but she has one for each class. So if she wanted it to be for a science group, she could kind of sort this out. And this would be very helpful if you're departmentalized. You could kind of sort this out and make sure that you have the students that you need to have in there. Okay, now you're going to add new materials. Okay. What? Really? I wonder why. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why you aren't seeing the PowerPoint. It's fantastic. I don't know why. Anyway, I'll just let you sit in Benchmark Universe and I'll keep talking. There's drop and drag menus. You can add books with customization, books without customization. You can assign it to students. And so it's just an option that you have. Reading logs is another one. And if you click on reading logs, it will show you the benchmark reading activity. So it'll show you what kids have been doing what. So you know, they've been in this book, they've been in there 45 minutes and they've done absolutely nothing. Then whoops, we don't want that. Or they've been in 14 different books for 3 minutes each. That's probably not good either. So it kind of gives you a way to kind of monitor students without necessarily having to be right on top of them, especially if you're working with a different small group and trying to maximize your use of the leveled library. Managing students works the same way. It has all the students in different classes and you can create groups. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not really sure why it's not sharing it, because it's showing my screen. I don't know. Oh, YouTube, you're so funny. So we're back here to Benchmark Universe. So like I said, those assignments, it would say bookshelf and assignments right here at this very top. Mine just says bookshelf. Yours would say bookshelf and assignments right here in this column. And then you could create the assignments here. They would pop up. And again, if you've created customizations and you want the students to use your customizations, you can do that. If you only have certain students that you want, maybe you have a couple of students that really struggle with one particular thing, you can create customizations and assign them just to those 2 students. You can set due dates in there. There are a lot of different things that you can do in here if you really drill in. You can make it as personal and customized as you'd like for your students. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. And so my lovely moderator, Kelsey Ray, is going to put the CPE link into the webinar. And hopefully you've learned a little bit about Benchmark Universe and has hopefully maybe whet your appetite to sit down and try to learn a little bit more and to really dig in there and get into this webinar and get into this material and really dig into it for your students. Remember, it is in ReadyHub, so you can access this anytime, anywhere. So if you're sitting around on a weekend and are just curious, there you go. A way to fill those hours besides Netflix. You can follow me on Twitter at Cheryl Taylor, CHERYL Taylor 7. I don't know if I'm that interesting on Twitter, but you can follow me if you like. Every now and then I might say something interesting. And you all have a great day, and thanks for coming to the webinar.